Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Short midweek one for you this week, and it's to celebrate the release of FPP version 9. Dan Culp and the rest of the crew have been putting in the midnight hours, and we've seen a lot of commits recently to the code, and they have released the final version of FPP version 9. Now when I say final version, it is the release version. So there will be updates and patches, but nothing like as many as we've seen through the alpha and beta test stages. So what does that mean for us? Well, I've just finished copying a brand new image of FPP 9 downloaded using the Raspberry Pi Extra tool. So let's get that into our Pi 4 and fired up, and let's take a look. Now I'm working off the release notes here because I haven't had time to go through it all in detail and test every single thing, but let's have a quick buzz through. So first up is support for the new Pocket Beagle 2. This is a new, faster version of the Pocket Beagle, and there are capes and things already out there which can use this new Beagle now. I need to get one of those and get that under testing so we can do a review for you. SD cards auto expand storage space at first reboot. So normally when we go through the first settings, one of the things we do at the end is we click on the expand file system and then it goes away and does it for us. We don't need to do that anymore. That's going to do it for us the second time that FPP reboots. Now, whilst I've been talking, my screen has come to life, so let's have a look and see what we got. So it's already asking for a reboot. It's come up for the first time and it's already asking for a reboot. I presume this is off the back of the SD card auto expanding. UI password, we can do those as usual. Load password Falcon. I'm going to set it to FPP9 Pi 4. There we go. Right, so what have we got? We're missing the entry in here for sending data back to the devs. That's disappeared. With location settings, that's an interesting addition, I think, at this point. I don't remember seeing it before, but I might be wrong. So let's say look up location. Yep, so it's looked up the location based on my internet or my WAN IP address. And I know that's going to put me in central London. Yep, because that's where my ISP thinks I am. So that's really useful. That's all we need to do on the first setup page. So I'm going to go to finish setup. Here's the stats for the privacy settings. Let's give those a whirl so they start getting information. And then I'm going to reboot. There we are. So the Pi is now doing its second reboot, or its first reboot, second boot, if you like. One thing I've been talking about quite a bit on the channel is the color light updates that are coming out in version 9. We've got new code for driving color lights and therefore panels. The ability to drive multiple different panels from one instance of FPP is going to be really good. And I demonstrated that on last week's video. Preliminary support for V13 color light firmware works in some cases. I couldn't get it to work. Obviously some people have, so that is still work in progress. Try to auto detect color light firmware. I did see that bit working. Didn't work properly afterwards, but there we are. Right, UI updates. So an update available now in the upper menu when an update is available. We did see that in some of the testing I've been doing. We get a little update thingy up here saying there's an update available, which there isn't currently. So they haven't done any brand new patches to 9 yet, so that's good. Channel input and output configs are automatically restarting FPPD. No longer requires an FPPD, so it's just happening in the background. So we no longer are we going to get the the yellow bar at the top here saying FPPD wants a restart. Many settings do that. Same with command presets, model effects. DHCP leases from FPP will automatically display as proxied on the proxy page. So we saw some issues with that in a video that we did a few weeks back under proxy settings. Once that was set up, we weren't getting the new entries in the top here and it wasn't behaving. I was having to add them manually. So I'm pleased that the devs have been watching the videos and learning from that. And I have to say thank you to Stuart Leddingham in particular, because he has sent me a message to say thank you for the videos, as they've been useful during testing. So thank you, and yeah, vice versa. Playlists will now display total length and number of items. That's going to be good. So if I go down to content setup playlists, let's create a new one. Let's just call it demo, add. Oh, it's got no value for randomize, but it is giving us the duration here. So there's the duration of our playlists, which will be good. I've got nothing in there obviously at the minute, but durations are there so we can see what's happening. Playlist cards, done that. Localization settings moved to a separate localization tab. So under status control, FPP settings. Yep, there we are. We've got a new localization tab. So it shouldn't need to configure the time unless you are not connected to the internet or a network time server. Your regional settings will look themselves up based on your lat and long. Happy days, that all looks good. Services like Samba and MQTT have been moved to a new services tab. Oh, here we go. Now this is where you can enable rsync, and that's the thing that tripped us off on our video again a couple of weeks ago, where I was trying to get a master and a remote to sync, and they said no, you got to enable the rsync checkbox, which I hadn't done. Features for some capes, blah blah blah, resulting in clearer, quicker startups. That's good, and some nicer names. So where we used to use things like TTY for DMX outputs, we can now call them nicer things like DMX. So we know what they're doing. That's good. Lots more panel types. That's good. There's lots more panels coming out these days. P4s, P2.5s. The days of simply having P5s and P10s are gone. So yeah, lots more interesting stuff coming in there. Interleave types are good because we've seen some really wacky interleaves coming through, particularly on the cheaper LED panels from China at the moment. So that's good. OLEDs on capes can now provide additional status messages. So I haven't got a cape connected, but we'll have a look at that later. Capes can now specify which GPIO pins can be hidden. That's good. So some capes require some of the GPIO pins to use for internal functionality, and then if we go and try and configure them in input output and GPIO inputs, if they're not available, then they'll be removed from this list. So that's really quite good. Lots of settings have been removed from HTML for security purposes. Security headers gone to prevent malicious JavaScript. Brilliant. A lot of people these days are using FPP in a commercial setting, and with a commercial setting you need to make sure that your patching is up to date. Penetration test type functionality can be used to test things like FPP, and that will bring up a whole host of issues. So the more security conscious the FPP guys are now, the better. And the underlying upgrade to the Linux version at the core, the kernel, if you like, is also really good. So good to see the commercial hat being worn, even though the majority of people are just Christmas shows on their houses. It's good to have it acting as proper commercial software. New processor updates to make sure channel values do not exceed scale values. That's good, but underlying stuff. MQTT support is improving. I haven't played with that. That's something we need to look at. USB relays, that's good for turning things on and off. and support for Pi Compute Module 5. Well, this is one that I did in my multi-Pi test several months ago now, used a CM5, and I really wasn't getting the performance out of it that I should have done, or at least I felt I should have done. So seeing that support for this is now in there is great. I'll dig it out. It's on the shelf over there, and we'll get that done. FPPD dongle for PixelNet is going. Many of the remote FPP commands, like remote playlist start, again, that's one that I was having trouble with a couple of weeks back, are going. Please use the multi-sync. FPP only now uses the in-kernel Wi-Fi drivers. So instead of using third-party Wi-Fi drivers for different USB Wi-Fi adapters, they're now going to use the ones built in to the Linux release. And that's good because it means there's going to be better support for them and they're more likely to work properly and less likely to have bugs. So that's really good. HTTP service on 32 is internal. That's fine. That's good. Again, more pen test type stuff. Upgrade instructions. Due to incompatibilities with underlying libraries, an OS level upgrade is required. I'm going to say the same at this point as I always do. For a major version upgrade, save yourself the aggro, get the SD card out, re-image it, put it back in again. By all means, take a backup of all your config first, wipe the image, stick a nice clean image on, and then restore your backup. Yes, it might take, or it might be perceived as taking slightly longer, but it's going to be a lot less ag than faffing about with updates and then things that don't quite work and debugging and messing about. Just wipe it, start again. Bosh. In place upgrade, you need at least 7.5 or newer, and all the upgrades. It will take a long time. It's a lot quicker just to wipe a card. So that's it. Again, well done to the devs. They've done it, cracked out the new version. We're early in August, so we've got a couple of months now before we're really going to start using it in anger for Halloween. Let's get it tested, find the bugs, get them done, have all the issues out of the way by then, and then we can have the best season yet for the end of 25. There we go, short and sweet. Let's have a good one, and the regular Sunday video, which is on Pocket Scrollers this week, will be out on Sunday. So have fun.